Hello everybody, my name is Snow Voidwalker, the Polar Bear Chick, here today with my first ever book review for this channel. Let me just get this out there straight. This isn't a professional review, it's more opinionated, so it's going to be like the good and bad points I found while reading this book. And so I'm not going to focus on grammatical or spelling errors or any little plot holes I found. Wasn't really looking for them. But spoiler warning, in case you haven't read it yet, today we are reviewing Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So starting off with good points, my first good point is that it was just an enjoyable story overall. Like, it wasn't the best book I've ever read, but it certainly was not the worst either. I had good middle ground in that. My second was that it did subvert expectations, such as reading the little excerpts at the beginning of the chapter. I expected the main character, Violet, to get one of the super dangerous blue dragons with the spiked dagger tail or whatever it was. But I also then expected her to get the black dragon everyone was talking about, so I was sort of right on that. But I didn't expect her to get two dragons. So that was a surprise for me. And I honestly kind of expected her childhood friend to die, or her best friend, which they did not. One was kind of disappointing, but we won't go into that. So yeah, it definitely did subvert my expectations. Point 3 was Aragon idea. It took the Aragon idea and flipped it. So instead of like when the rider dies, the dragon dies, and instead in Fourth Wing, if the dragon dies, the rider is gone as well. So I like that it did that. Either way, either version's still sad, but yeah. My fourth point is there were a lot of good, really enjoyable characters with good dynamics. Like her and her new friend, what was her name? Rihanna? I'm bad at remembering names. Anyway, her and her new friend, they had a great dynamic. They had just met when they had to cross the parapet. I'm probably saying that wrong, but whatever. When they first had to cross that, and they became like best friends who helped each other throughout their trials and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. And she also made a bunch of new friends with the others in her team. Maybe not as good friends as she was with what's-her-face, but still enjoyable character interactions. Point number 5 was it had very good character growth, as in the main character didn't start off like super overpowered. Like, she had her flaws, definitely, with having a weaker body than everyone else, but she tried her best to overcome it, even if it meant what could be considered cheating by poisoning her opponents before having to fight them. Being able to ride her dragon Terran, I'm not going to try and pronounce his whole name, being unable to hold on while he was flying and stuff, which they fixed with a saddle. So she had her flaws, and she overcame them. So I really enjoy when a character is able to do that, and they're not overpowered from the beginning, just like complete and total, oh my god, girl boss, queen, yes. Pardon me for that. Okay. Point number 6 is I feel like it had good conflict throughout the book, both between characters, like fighting amongst themselves, and just fight scenes in total, you know, like the arguments between her and Dane. And then, of course, the fight scenes I feel were pretty detailed, and I had an easier time picturing in my head what was going on during the scene. Point number 7, her dragons. I loved her dragons. Just absolutely loved. They were some of my favorite characters. Her Terran, he was just like a sassy old grandpa, and I love that. And he was just absolutely amazing. Like, seriously, one of my favorite characters. But Adriana, I know I'm saying that wrong, she was just cute. She was just so cute and just wanted to tag along so much, even though she was still just a baby and couldn't really do anything. But Violet with her dragons, they were very enjoyable scenes anytime with her and her dragons. Except for that one scene, if you know, it was cringe. It was just straight cringe and weird, but we'll go into that later. And I believe that's it for my good points. So now we'll switch over to the bad point. My first bad point, it's kind of predictable. I mean, it can be very predictable sometimes. Like in the beginning when, I forget his name, but the guy who's like, after we graduate, I'm going to go propose to my girlfriend. No, sir. No, that's a huge death flag. No, you know immediately he's gonna die. And of course, she's going to end up with Xaden. We all know that. So that's very predictable. Of course, we know that she's going to get a powerful dragon that kind of compensates for her body's weakness. In my opinion, that's what it does anyway. And of course, the big quote-unquote twist at the end is that her brother's going to be alive. Huge spoiler warning. But yeah, that her brother's going to be alive. I didn't expect him to be working for the, again, quote-unquote bad guys. So that was unexpected, but as much as it mentioned him throughout the story, of course he was going to be alive. My second bad point is Dane. Just fucking Dane. Fuck you, Dane. God, worst fucking character. And I know he's written to be like a bad character, like absolutely horrible. You start off liking him. Okay, he's great. Yay. You know, best friends. Oh my god, so cute. And then he turns out to be a total dickwad. So yeah, fuck you, Dane. It's not really a bad point per se. I just hate his character. Point number 3 is, for me, the formation was confusing. The formation system, like with the fourth wing and second fang and stuff like that. I personally just never really got a hold of it, you know? Point number 4, there were too many characters for my liking. I get confused easily. So when it keeps mentioning characters and I'm just like, who is this again? So I get confused when there's too many characters, and it doesn't mention all of them that often as well. So again, that's a personal thing, but I did put it in one of my bad points. But at the same time, given the setting and what's going on in the story, it's understandable that there's so many characters. You can't have a squad for war made of like 3 or 4 people. You have to have multiples in there, so it's understandable. It just still confuses me. My 5th point is that while I do love her dragons, as I stated earlier, having 2 of them just seems so main character-y, you know? Like, she has main character syndrome now that she has 2 dragons. You know, she is main character, but that's just how I feel. You know, like, this has never happened in the history of forever. Just, to me, that seems so overdone. And I get it, she's main character, she has to be special in some way. But to have 2, and that's actually it for my bad points. Some extra points that I want to make that I never really considered good or bad. Dane was annoying. Yes, this was one of my bad points as well, but I just wanted to throw in here again because fuck you, Dane. Oh my god. I haven't hated anyone this much since bitch from Rise of the Shield Hero or Sakura from Naruto. Or Sasuke. Fuck Sasuke. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about that. Just fucking hell, man. I honestly kind of hoped and expected him to die. Like, I expected him to die, and then after, you know, the kind of trial scene, I really just hoped he would die. Just, my god. Anyway, moving on. My second point was, I enjoyed the dynamic between Violet and Xaden, though, yeah, again, I completely expected them to get together. It was impossible for them not to end up together. Like, seriously. Their dynamic was pretty interesting, though someone pointed out to me that he wasn't really a bad guy. Like, he was made to be out by her mom and her sister and Dane and all that. He was made out to be the, like, main villain of the story. Don't get close to him or you'll die. But no, he never really did anything bad to her. Like, yeah, so what the fuck? Obviously, the bad guy is going to be Jack, that dickwad who got what was coming to him. Anyway, I gotta stop doing that. My 3rd point is, this was also one of my good points as well, but I just wanted to reiterate. Violet had her weaknesses that she tried to overcome, but couldn't quite do it. Yeah, she compensated for it some by, in the fights, poisoning her opponent so she could beat them easier. But as for her body's weakness, like bones breaking easily and pulling muscles and whatever, that's not really something she could overcome. Though she tried her best to. She did try her best to train and get stronger and stuff like that, but she just couldn't. And that's okay. I think that's okay. My fourth point is that the ending enemy, the Veneen, whatever, it was honestly kind of expected, but I was still surprised, you know? Like, as much as that's another one of those that as much as it mentioned them throughout the story, they weren't just going to be some legend. They were going to be real, and they were going to be the actual enemy instead of the Griffin Riders. I didn't expect the Griffin Riders to be allies with them though, so that was also a surprise. But of course, the Veneen were going to be actual enemies. My fifth and final point was that I didn't expect some of the twist, and I love it when that happens. As much as I love trying to predict what'll happen in a story, I didn't see these coming, and that surprised me, and I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't expect Xaden to be working with the Griffin Riders. I forget if they have an actual name or not, but I didn't expect that. So that was an enjoyable surprise to know that not only are they not their actual enemies, but that they get to work with them now to defeat the real bad guy. And another one I didn't expect was Dane betraying them to his higher ups and basically almost getting them killed. I mean, I knew he was a dick. We all knew he was a dick, but I thought he maybe cared enough about her, just maybe, cared enough about her to not send her to her death. Evidently, I was wrong. So, yeah. But it was still a surprise. As much as I hate it and hate him, it was a surprise. And Liam. Didn't expect Liam, did I? God, that ripped my heart out. I hated it. I hated it so much. He was such a good character. And they just off him. Like, you expect someone close to her to die. Again, I was hoping it was going to be Dane. But no, it's Liam, and it broke my heart. And I hate it. And that's my review for Fourth Wing. Again, overall, it was a really good story. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for the sequel. Apparently, there's going to be 5 books in the series, if I remember correctly, if I heard correctly. And honestly, I don't know what the author's going to have happen in 5 books. Like, I feel like the story could be over in like 2 or 3. So I don't know how she's going to make it into 5, but I guess we'll see. Overall, I think I will give it 7.5 polar paws out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Again, not the best thing I've read, but certainly not the worst. But if you would like to read this book, I highly recommend it. I do. It was amazing. It wasn't quite to the point where I just couldn't put it down, but I was still excited to pick it back up again. And the sequel is called Iron Flame and comes out November 7th, 2023. So if you're interested in it, if I have somehow persuaded you to pick up the book, be sure to do that, and I hope you enjoy. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. Bye-bye!